everybody, welcome to lesson 2 of learning how to paint with acrylics using a dry brush technique. In my previous video I showed you how to paint the mountains really quickly and easily, so hopefully you gave it a try. And in this video I thought we would attempt the little beach scene, so I think beaches are quite popular. So let's have a look at what paints we're going to need. We're going to be using a white, of course, titanium white. I like to use these Payne studio acrylics and always look for the high viscosity. It's very good, not sponsored. And with that we're going to be using a Payne's grey as well, and we're also going to be using some Cerulean Blue for the sky, and we're also going to be using some Cadmium Yellow as well. So I'm just going to get these on my palette and then we shall begin. Okay, so we've got our 4 colours set up, and what I'm actually going to do, because we're doing a beach scene, I'm just going to get a little bit of extra masking tape and we're going to mark off a horizon. So now's the time to decide whether you want more sea or more sky. So I'm going to go with sort of just half and half, I think. So it's a nice easy way to get a nice straight horizon. And it doesn't really matter what acrylic brushes you use. I like to use the Rowney graduate brushes. I'm using a flat brush like this, and you're also going to need a cocktail stick as well, which I will explain later. Okay, so we're going to start off with the sky. So we're going to mix some titanium white and some of the cerulean blue, not too much. And like all my skies, I like to make it more white at the bottom. So sunny days, we're going to add a tiny weeny little bit of yellow in there as well. Not too much. We don't want it too green. Okay, we might as well throw in a little bit of Payne's grey as well, but mainly the white and the cerulean blue. And we're just going to make a very, very quick sky. These are very quick little doodles, acrylic doodles. I'm going to add a little bit more white near the bottom and just mark out, fluff out some clouds. Okay, a little bit more white. I want it really quite white at the bottom. Okay, and then add more cerulean blue near the top. Hopefully you can see. Check my camera. Okay. So when it bluer at the top, and it's going to keep some fluffy clouds in there as well with some white. So add some white just to make some fluffy clouds like so, and there we have our simple sky. Okay, so we're going to wash our brush, and like I said in my first video, the only time I use water is when I clean my brush. And what we're going to do now is we're going to take off our horizon tape. And there we go, we're going to move on to the water. Make sure our brush is clean. And I like to thoroughly dry the brush, so using this technique, so I literally never use water unless it's to clean the brush. So what we're going to do, for the top of the sea, is we're going to get some Payne's grey, which is basically more like blue. You can see there. Take a tiny little bit of cerulean blue and a tiny little bit of yellow, but we're going to keep it mainly Payne's grey. And we're just going to, from side to side, it's really annoying, it wants to focus on my brush and not the painting. Going to just go from side to side, going up to that horizon, which, because we're using quite thick acrylic, there should be like a little groove you can just work up against. But if not, you can just use tape again. Okay, and we're just going to bring that down, leaving like little bits of white, and you're going to have lighter patches and darker patches. I'm going to sort of stop about there when the paint starts running out. Okay, so you can see your beach coming together already. And then what we want to do is you really want to blend that out with some yellow. We want to make a nice green colour, which you can't see. So we can use some cerulean blue, add a little bit of white. I want to get this kind of, I mean, you can use a designated turquoise. For example, I have one here, turquoise blue, if you want to. It's not cheating, is it? It's just quicker, but I like to make my own. So we're going to take some white, a little bit of yellow, Payne's grey, a bit of everything really. And so you end up with this kind of greeny blue colour. And we're going to mix that in sort of halfway. We can fill in some of those white bits a little bit. Okay. Add a little bit more Payne's grey as we get towards the top. So you want it more dark blue at the top and more sort of greeny turquoisey the further you come down. Okay, clean your brush. Okay, we're going to mix up some sand colour now. So we're going to get some white, some fresh white and some yellow for a nice easy sand colour, and bring that into the foreground. Try and keep it a pale yellow. I'm going to mix that into the water a little bit, especially where these white streaks are. What we want to do now with that yellowy colour is add some blue, a little bit of the Cerulean Blue. You get a much lighter, you can't even see, much lighter green. And we're going to bring that over top of our yellow. And we're going to create like a little sort of semicircle. Mix that in a little bit, blend that with the darker turquoise. So you got something like that. So you got this blend between the sand and the sea with this nice light green. And if you didn't see before, it's just we were mixing the white with the yellow and with the cerulean blue, little bits at a time, so we get this lighter green colour. And what that's going to be is the water going over the sand, so you're sort of seeing a little bit of the sand but also a little bit of the water as well. Okay, like so. I'm just going to add a little bit more green to these bits here. Clean your brush. Okay, so we're going to add a lot more blue to that yellow mixture so it's darker. And we're going to try and bring that in the middle a little bit more. So a little bit too green, I think, in the middle. Go over these white bits. That gives like little bits of different colours in the water. And I think that's pretty much it for the blending of the water. Okay, so now the fun bit. Clean your brush. Okay, so what we're going to do now is going to get our cocktail stick, and we're just going to take some of the white and just roll it around a little bit with the cocktail stick, because we just want to coat the end of the cocktail stick. We don't want it too thick. Okay, so it's just like that. And bringing that forward, we are going to, first of all, we're going to make some little sea foam at the front. Okay, let's grab a little bit more. The good thing about using a cocktail stick is it's really abstract, so you have no control over it, which makes it look a lot more natural, and you get these little thicker bits here which look like little waves. So again, we're going to grab some more white and just keep doing that all the way up your painting. Okay. Don't be worried if you make clumpy mistakes, okay? Like this is quite big, but we're going to do less as we get further out, okay? Because we don't really get waves the further out we go. If you get something like this, which is a little bit too much, just scrape it off a little bit, and it looks really natural, like so. So I'm just going to add more around the front here. Then wipe it off and scrape it a little bit. There we go. That looks really nice, like so. And then the last thing to do is we're going to bring our brush back and take some of the Payne's grey. It always confuses me because it's this type of Payne's grey is actually really blue. I've had a Payne's grey in the past which has been really black, but this one's very blue. This is where we need a really good flat brush. So we want to make sure our brush is nice and flat, like so, as best you can. And what we're going to do is we're just going to very carefully, underneath the white bit, create a little line of darker blue. And this is just going to be the shadow underneath the waves. My brush is too long. And also right at the front as well. You don't have to do every wave, but you could also add some dark. Sorry about the clacking, my brush is hitting the camera. And I think that is pretty much it. And of course, if you get any that's like a little bit too much there, you can just go back over with the yellow and block it out. That's the great thing about dry brush acrylics, is that it works like oils. You can just layer upon layer upon layer. So I can just get a little bit more white, a little bit more yellow, and just clean that up if I want to, if it's too blue. And there we go, that is our finished little seascape. So all that's left to do now is to take off the tape. So if you struggle taking off the tape, if it's ripping your paper, then just use a hairdryer to melt the glue a little bit, and that should help it come off. But this paper is quite smooth, so this tape comes off really easy. Okay. So obviously you can add more and more to your little landscapes. You can get really more creative with the clouds. You could have a moody sky. You could add little rocks and things to the beach. For shadow on the beach, you'd probably add a little bit of brown with the yellow. And there we go. There is our tiny little seascape, and my horizon is still not that smooth. But let's imagine there's some hills in the background. But there we go. There is our little seascape using just 4 colours. So I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. I hope you managed to follow along if you gave it a try, and join me in another art acrylic dry brush tutorial, and we will attempt one of the other tiny little paintings, these little experiments. Really simple techniques, simple colours, and get you guys painting and mixing. But thanks for watching. I'll see you soon for some more painting fun. Bye.